Hello everyone, this is Chris Bassick with Berkshire Hathaway Owned Services EWM Realty in Miami Beach. In this video, I will show you how to compile a mailing list with the help of IMAP. So there you have it. Simply type in the address of the building you're interested in. Start search. And as you can see here, we come up with 113 results. Next, you select the button Download Results. Now, once here, for our first mailing list, select Property Address. Then hit the button Start Download. Now, this action generates an Excel sheet that will include each and all physical address within the building. So whether the unit is occupied by owner or a tenant, a postcard will be sent to each unit in the building. As you can see here, I am taking a moment to clean up the Excel sheet by removing the empty columns and any record that should be or should not be included. This will make your task easier when the time comes to export this information. Next here, I'm going to show you a little trick in Excel to make it so that you can join in 4 columns into one. Again, the purpose here is to make the export process simpler, if not easier. This trick is easy enough to recreate as long as you remember to use the right combination of quote and ampersand. Essentially, all you need to do here is to start with the equal sign and point to each cell in your Excel sheet separated by the double quote or an ampersand to be placed at the right location as shown here. Okay, now that we have the formula properly set up, it is just a question of copying it over for the rest of the records. While at it, let's include a current resident tag for each address. Okay, so now you can see our Excel sheet is basically completed with each address. It's all cleaned up, looking nice and easy and ready to export. So I am now going to save it on my desktop, on my computer, in a comma delimited text. So CSV is the format you want to make sure you select as an option. I like to call this list residence list. I call it, make the name of the building, the address of the building / residence. That makes it easy for us to recognize when the time comes to export it. Okay, we're not quite done just yet. To do this right, let's make sure we can also reach out to all owners living out of town. We're going to repeat the same process as shown before, except here you will select owner address as shown here. We did property address before, now we're doing owner address. And as shown here, the result is a little different as shown before, but the process is basically the same. I'm going to remove all unnecessary information. By clicking the upper left corner of our sheet, you get to select the entire set of data. Next, click on Data tab and select the A to Z icon for sorting your data, as shown here. Make sure my data has headers box is checked in, then select house number to sort by. In doing so, you are sorting the entire set of data by address, as shown here, making it easier for you to basically extract these addresses since you already have them set up in your resident list. So I'm essentially deleting all of these records because it's a repeat from the mailing list we've put together before. While I'm at it, as you can see here, there are some addresses for out of the country. Most of our mailing system will not accept out of the country mail out, so I'm just deleting them. Okay, so now that we have our worksheet cleaned up, I am essentially going to repeat the same process as before. Oh, let's delete this column. We don't need that anymore. And as shown on the previous process, when we put our residence list together, I'm going to combine the columns together to make it easier for us when the time comes to export the address. So it's an equal sign along with the combination of ampersands and double quote for the space in between. And this is essentially what it's going to look like when you're done with it. This is the formula that makes it work. Makes things much easier. I want to copy it over for the rest of the records. And that basically takes all of the, I don't need this anymore. It takes all of the columns on the left and make it into one. Again, the purpose here is to make it simpler and easier for you when the time comes to, I don't need this, it's a repeat, export the data set. So there you have it. Let's call that company. So it'll make it things easier again to recognize when we do the wizard and importing to a system. Save as we've done before, into my computer, comma, delimited. The building name dash, in this case we call it absentee. So we now have two mailing lists, one for residents with all the physical address of the building and one for the owners living out of the building with a different mailing address. Okay, now we're going to log into our resource center and go into our marketing resource tile, market the property. And while I'm at it, let me just show you a little trick I like to point out every so often to remind you all. I like to do English only so that all the templates available will be shown, and I like to sort them by date created so I can go down the list for the most recent, so I can see, okay, what is new this coming, in the last few weeks that came in, the new material, the new postcards, the new e-cards, the new whatever material is available will be sorted so you can see what's new. It's not a bad idea for you to look that over every so often. Now, this looks like an interesting postcard. Anyone can look. So let's create a postcard so we can basically mail out to our mailing lists. I'm going to get started, name it, continue. And that can be done with any of the postcards available in the system. Single agent, there's no other co-agent. So that's a simple card enough, and that there's very few steps to complete it. Let's assume it is completed. Then you select when you're happy with the result, you select the little print icon that you see here on the upper right. In doing so, it will initiate the transition to our printing vendor. When you click approve and continue, this will take you to Express Docs, our printing vendor. Once here, select use our complete mailing service. I recommend you pick first class mail, especially if this is your first mail out. Next. As shown here, pick upload list. And this is where you'll go back to your computer, choose file, and pick the mail that was previously created, upload it. And at this point, you're having to do what we call map out. So current resident is my first residence list. Address is the one we created. Make sure you use the one we've created. That's the combined columns together. I like to basically view the result here as shown to make sure that it is as it should be. And sure enough, it looks good. And as you do next, it'll show you over here the result. So that's my residence mailing list for all physical address in the building. Make sure you name it. It'll make it easier for you to select in future time. So this is the name of the building dash residence, and click on approved. So basically, that mailing list is uploaded and it is available for this mail out and any future mail out. I'm going to do another one, this time for my absentee mailing list. This one will be a little different when the time comes to map out the field. So be careful. Make sure as you map it out that it is shown as it should be. So you're going to pick the right fields for the right map out. It can be a little confusing at times. So here we go. Let's play with this. Here we go. That's the combine again columns. That's why the combined columns make it easier for you to bring in. And sure enough, I have that here. But let me see here. I think you may want to put, because we have two names. That's the one with the company name, if you remember. In some cases, there are two names available. Nope. So once you map it out properly, a lot of it's trial and error, to be honest with you. But once you have it mapped properly, the result should show as follow. And there you have it. This is the way it should look. Once again, make sure you name your list. In this case, building name dash absentee. So now I have two mailing lists available. One is called building name absentees. The other one's called building name residents. So as shown here, I'm ready to do my mail out. So there you have it. We have a mail out of this postcard to a total of 140 units, 31 of which are absentee owners and 109 are the current residents. I hope you enjoyed this video. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. I'll be more than happy to assist you. You can also reach out to Mel. She's also very well versed in this skill.